Hey folks, this is man once again, just doing a vlog. Probably won't be too long because I'm still getting over what I have. A lot of times I always think it's a cold, but I think it is allergies. But also, I think one thing that happened was I never drink alcohol, I never do. Last time was probably years, at least 45 years ago when it was like a one wine cooler. So of course, I did try. This might not be the case, but I'm guessing this is it because everything else I eat or drink is normal stuff. First time I've had alcohol in like 5 years, and it was a Mike's Hard Lemonade Cranberry. And I don't know, maybe that messed me up somehow because, sometimes some people are more sensitive than others. Especially for me, I've never have alcohol. And Mike's Hard Lemonade, I don't know what's in that stuff. I just heard about it. And then all of a sudden, uh huh, uh huh. Sorry, I didn't mean to gross people out. People are like, oh, fuck this, turn on it. But see, I think it's acidic. So what you call inflamed or swollen taste buds. I'm guessing it's something like that. Or it's just, it's allergies as well. So you see those like darker patches. I know people say, why don't you just go to a doctor just to be sure? Well, I'm taking allergy pills and stuff like that, and it's too expensive to go to a doctor. It's way too expensive. So if I do that, I'm going to save up money. Now, I did get a couple stuff, but this was stuff I got before this happened. So it goes to show you need to think ahead. Drinking some milk in the shitty Iron Man 3 cup. But that's why I haven't been making some videos in the past few days. I know there's a guy out there, Michael Escobar. I did not get to two of the films you had sent to me, so maybe I'll try to review them, at least like 5 minutes a piece or 10 minutes. But real quick, like just in case, he had sent me also U-Turn. I'll just say real quick, like if he watches this and wants to let me know if he wants me to do a longer review, you can let me know. But just in case he wants to know my thoughts, U-Turn I didn't really care for. The cast I liked. I mean, you have Sean Penn, Jennifer Lopez, Nick Nolte, Powers Booth, Claire Danes, Joaquin Phoenix, Billy Bob Thornton, Jon Voight. You're a really big cast, directed by Oliver Stone. Pretty much this guy who's, not the most likable guy in the world. Gets stuck in this town. Something breaks in his car. And pretty much the citizens of this Arizona town are just weird, and he gets entangled up with. Nick Nolte wants him to kill Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez wants him to kill Nick Nolte for various reasons. Billy Bob Thornton is this greasy, fat mechanic that gives him the runaround. Jon Voight is this blind guy, but then you find out he's not really blind. Um, Joaquin Phoenix is this guy who calls himself TNT, has a haircut on the back of his head. Powers Booth is this sheriff type guy, but he's not all in the up and up. I don't know, just the story is really like everyone in this film is an unlikable character. So it's a good cast and some interesting stuff, but I don't know, it's one of those, and it ends up pretty much with, well, I don't know if I want to give it away, but it's just one of those films I don't really see myself watching again. And then Fire in the Sky, I like this film. Good cast: D.B. Sweeney, Robert Patrick, Craig Sheffer, Peter Berg, James Garner. You got Henry Thomas, Bradley Gregg, who was in Nightmare Street Part 3 and class of 1999. You have a good cast. It's directed by a guy named Robert Lieberman. This is one of those films that I liked. I thought this is a much better version of The Fourth Kind. Like I hate The Fourth Kind. I believe I did a rant on The Fourth Kind that's still up. I think this is a much better film based on a true story, but I know like the last 10 minutes they kind of did their own thing. Pretty much about these guys in the 70s who are log workers. They work for this logging company, and Robert Patrick and D.B. Sweeney are best buds, and their group is again, Peter Berg, Craig Sheffer, uh, I think Henry Thomas is there, and Bradley Gregg. They're coming home one night and they see this, fire in the sky. They see this bright red light. They wonder what's going on, and that's the only road that can leads in and out of that place. And then D.B. Sweeney, he does the stupid thing. He walks out and sees special effects in this are really good. For a film no one really talks about, they're really good. And then this light sort of hits him and he falls back, and the people in the truck are scared. They don't know what to do, so they drive off. And then when they drive off for a bit, Robert Patrick says, "No, I need to go back for him." And Robert Patrick goes back, and then his buddy is missing. And a good chunk of this film, it's more like a sort of an investigation by James Garner, his character, who thinks that this is a cover-up. Because, well, where's D.B. Sweeney's character? They think, oh, it's a cover-up. Someone in this group murdered him. The townspeople don't trust and, of course, don't believe their story. Robert Patrick is defending himself. Robert Patrick has a really good scene where he says, what are you guys doing? It's like in a church. I used to go to school with you, and my kids go to school with your kids, and, I know what I saw. They take lie detector tests, and they pass, but at the same time, even though they pass lie detector tests, there's still doubt. And that's a good chunk of the film until D.B. Sweeney turns up, and he's naked, and he's pretty much fucked up. And the thing people remember is the ending, the last 10-15 minutes where you find out what happened to D.B. Sweeney with these aliens. And I thought the special effects were very well done. And for all the films that dealt with the concept of being, how do I call it? How you call it? Being abducted. And like what happens if you're abducted. This is probably the creepiest one, that sequence. Because he's like in zero gravity, and then he's trying to escape. He doesn't know what to do. He crashes into this one like cocoon, like slimy cocoon, and there's like a dead body in there. Well, at least another. They catch him. They put him down, and it's just really creepy. Like they put this. It's not really a sheet, but at the same time it is. But at the same time, it like elastic thing that sucks into his body, like into his against him, so he can't move. They put this thing that gets his eye wide open. They put this gunk in his eye, and they put this this stuff in his mouth, and just the images and the way it was done. I thought not only is it really good special effects, but I don't know, the way it was filmed is creepy. Like these, you don't want to be abducted by these aliens. And I thought it was a really one of the better, if not maybe the best, abduction sequence. Or aliens testing on someone sequence. And I thought, it was pretty well done. And, if you were a kid, you were probably even more creeped out and probably even scared to shit. Even now, watching it, I'm like, this is a pretty effective sequence. I thought it was a pretty effective, well done sequence. So I know a lot of people don't like the film because they felt the first half was just Robert Patrick and these guys, being told that you killed your friend and them trying to go, no, we didn't. And I can kind of understand that because it's like you build up with all these other characters like Robert Patrick and Peter Berg, and all of a sudden, once D.B. Sweeney comes back, pretty much all those characters are kind of thrown out, and then it's just D.B. Sweeney and what he experienced. And then the final act is like years later, and DB Sweeney has his wife and kids now, and he visits Robert Patrick, and they have like a moment. So it's kind of, maybe people think the structure wasn't, maybe they didn't care for the structure because like, okay, well, these other characters, they sort of disappear, and DB Sweeney, who DB Sweeney was kind of your lead, but then he disappears for the good chunk of the middle of the film. Then he comes back. But then Robert Patrick, who then becomes your lead, he disappears for a good 10-15 minutes in the third act. And then the other characters that you're seeing throughout the most of the middle of the film, like Peter Bird and Craig Sheffer and Bradley Gray and stuff, they sort of disappear in the third act. And also, I think people just felt it was boring. But I thought this was a good film. I think if you're a fan of X-Files, give this a look. I thought the cast did a good job. The effects when they're there did a good job, but it's more about if you're going to this for aliens, you're not going to see a lot of aliens. If you go in this though for see characters and some good acting, and then when you stick with it, you get like 10 or so minutes of pretty good stuff. Then I think it's worth your time. I mean, I would say I probably like this better than Communion with Christopher Walken. I haven't seen that in forever. I like this a lot better than The Fourth Kind. Anyway, I like Fire in the Sky. Although I guess I just reviewed the film there, but in case Michael Escobar watches, he can let me know. Some stuff I did yet. It's 3 things. Again, this is before this happened. Well, I already, I guess you already saw it. I was going to mention something else, but From the Earth to the Moon, which I've been watching, and I've been enjoying. Some miniseries from HBO, produced by Tom Hanks and Ron Howard, and how many parts is this? 12 parts. Each one is about maybe an hour or less. Pretty much showing from the first man in space, which was Alan Shepard. Well, first American in space, which was Alan Shepard, to Apollo 11, Neil Armstrong, and then landing on the moon. Apollo 7, which they first get into actual space for like quite a few days. You have sort of more of a funny one, which is Apollo 12, which has Dave Foley in it. But the cast, I mean, you got Tony Goldwyn from Go as Neil Armstrong. You got Mark Harmon. You got Ted Levine as Alan Shepard. You got Bryan Cranston as Buzz Aldrin. You have an appearance by a lot of different people. Clint Howard makes an appearance. The other actors I know, like Matt Craven, who I remember from Jacob's Ladder. David Andrews as Bowman from Stephen King's Graveyard Shift and a few other films. He makes quite an appearance in a lot of these. Tim Daly as Tim Daly's Lovell, of course, Apollo 13, among others. Lane Smith, Jay Moore, Robert John Burke, Terry Ellis, Stephen Root, Mark Harmon, I think I said that, Ronnie Cox, Mason Adams, Mark Rolston, who was Drake in Aliens, Kevin Pollak. Just a lot of really cool stuff about the space program and the different Apollo missions and such. I think it's a pretty good miniseries. So I thought that was really good. From the Earth to the Moon. What I was going to mention before is another thing I've been watching is a lot of the Royal Rumbles. Thanks to John 0cool1389. I hope that we get to see him again on YouTube sometime soon. Um, but thanks to him, I had a lot of the Royal Rumbles, so I've been watching them. Really enjoy them, especially the ones with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Didn't so much care for the matches during those pay-per-views, but the Royal Rumble itself I enjoyed. I probably like the later ones more than the earlier ones, but most of the Royal Rumbles I enjoyed. I think the one I liked the least was the one where The Rock won the Royal Rumble. And I liked The Rock, but that Royal Rumble I just thought was pretty boring. I think that was 2000. Hard to say what a favorite was. But those were a lot of fun to watch. So I watched those two films, been watching the Royal Rumbles, like 3 anthology sets. So it's like from 88, 89 to 2002. And then From the Earth to the Moon, watched that. Two other things. I got the official soundtrack of Uncommon Valor, which was very cool. Which had the song, which is why I upload the song on my channel, Brothers in the Night by Ray Kennedy, because it's a crystal clear version of that song. Because a lot of times when you heard that song, it was from the VHS or even the DVD, I should say, the DVD. But this is a crystal clear quality, and that, of course, has music by James Horner. But I really enjoy that song, Brothers in the Night. And you even have a little booklet about the making of the soundtrack and such, which is pretty cool. Really love the film. I think it's a criminally underrated movie. Criminally underrated movie. I love this movie. I did a review for this film. It's still up. And yes, I did get. Dan, this is before this, but I did get the Ultimate Warrior because I know when this was ordered, it was like 1 to 3 weeks wait. But I still got it, and the reason I got it on Blu-ray was because there's extra features, or I should say extra matches on it, that for some reason wasn't on the DVD. Yeah, Blu-ray exclusive. Danger Warrior versus Matt Bourne. Ultimate Warrior and British Bulldogs versus Demolition Mr. Fuji. Ultimate Warrior versus Dino Bravo. The WrestleMania 6 contract signing and 7 contract signing. Ultimate Warrior versus Sergeant Slaughter at Tokyo Dome. Ultimate Warrior versus Goldust at In Your House. And this is pretty much the Ultimate Warrior talking about his career, and in between you see, I would say, pretty much every single match you could think of for Ultimate Warrior. Even coming in, Ultimate Warrior versus Barry Horowitz versus Steve Lombardi. Being the Honky Tonk Man at SummerSlam and then the rematch. Ravishing Rick Rude in Steel Cage. Andre the Giant, Undertaker, of course WrestleMania 6 with Hulk Hogan, Ted DiBiase, Sergeant Slaughter, where I think that's the one where he got screwed out of his title. I want to say that was a Royal Rumble, I believe. Can't remember. No. Yeah, I think it was. I think it was. Like I said, Undertaker, WrestleMania 7 with Macho. Wait a minute, where is that? I know it's on here. Yeah, WrestleMania 7 with Randy Savage, the retirement match. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, which I know he was pissed. Hunter Hearst Helmsley was pissed about that. Jerry the King Lawler and King of the Ring. No matches from him in WCW, just him interrupting and a promo he did for Nitro, which I'm fine with because, from what I understand, it's pretty shitty over there. But anyway, may the guy rest in peace. And nice to have this The Ultimate Warrior, the Ultimate Collection. As for movie news, I know there's a Friday the 13th TV show that's going to be about, I don't know what the fuck it's going to be about. Apparently it's going to deal with Jason, and there's going to be like flashbacks to Jason when he was a kid and Mrs. Voorhees, and I'm like, seriously, this is probably because the Bates Motel TV show, and you had a Hannibal TV show. I know there's a Dracula TV show. I don't know if that's even still on because I don't fucking watch TV. But, fuck that. Apparently, Justice League America, that movie, apparently Zack Snyder is going to direct it. Whoop-de-fucking-do. I didn't like fucking Man of Steel, which he directed, so I don't really care about him directing Justice League. That cough is what I feel about that. As for other movie news, I can't even think of other movie news. Whatever it is, I don't give a fuck. I don't cut here so that I don't lose more of my voice. But anyway, Michael Escobar, you can let me know about that. And there will be future videos, but just take it easy. But just wanted to make this one video, letting you guys know what's up. Either way, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you later.